Modern Horizons draft. I am new to this format, but it's just come out on MTGO, so I am going to give it a go and see how we get on. As I say, I don't know much about the format just yet, so I'm learning, and you can learn along with me, I guess. This is our opening pack. Mox Tantalite, I suppose, could be good and limited. I'm going to choose Draft Sim to try and help me guide my way through, but is Mox Tantalite any good, or is it just garbage in this set? Throes of Chaos seems like the best next pick, but I don't know. What else have we got? I'm going to take a risk on the Mox Tantalite. And see where we go from here. Okay, so let's make these cards a bit bigger. So Undead Olga is probably pretty good. There's like a lot of changeling creatures, so that kind of draw effect is probably quite nice. Planebound Accomplice. There's only 2 Planeswalkers in the whole set, so that seems like a pretty bad card in general. Slither's First Chosen, I imagine, is really good, again, because of the changelings, and having a good Slithers deck in general is probably pretty nice. Everything else seems okay, I think. We can take the Slither's Chosen as our card of choice. And then we'll see how the draft develops from there, but I think Slither the Chosen is probably the nicest card. Undead Olga seems good, but it's going to sort of commit us to double black mana, which I don't know how easy it is to splash in this set. It seems like there's probably some good ways of getting there, but we'll see how we get on. So, not really seeing a lot of exciting in white apart from Secluded Step, I guess, which is fairly decent. Unanswered Prayers might be a decent card, I suppose. Igneous Elemental seems very good generally. If you can get a land into the graveyard, it's a pretty solid creature. We've got another Slither here, which turns everything into a pinger. If we go down to no cards, I'm really tempted to take the Secluded Step here. It seems like it might actually just be the best card. Yeah, I'm going to pick Secluded Step and see how we get on. I forget that these are against live opponents, so you can't take all the time in the world, as you do on Arena. Trustworthy Scout is okay. Cave of Temptation is actually quite good, I suppose. We get to put +1/+1 counters on. Karen Feeder seems really good though. Defile, I suppose, is decent removal. If we do end up black, we might end up regretting not picking that Undead Olga. If we end up in zombies, there's so much good black stuff in this this one. Talisman's also pretty good. I think I'm going to take the Carrion Feeder. Seems like it'll be really good in limited. It's just a very powerful creature. But Defile is also on our radar, I suppose, as a solid removal spell. Cloud Herder is pretty nice. Maybe we can move into white-blue. So yeah, so you get to blink a creature every turn, and then the Cloud Herder grows. That seems nice. We could pick up a Talisman, which is in our current colours, although we're not really very committed in any particular direction at the moment. We could also splash Cloud Herder, I guess, if we are going to end up being in white. There's no particular reason why we would have to be going all in on blue. So I like playing the sorry, I keep calling it Cloud Herder. Soul Herder. So yeah, I think Soul Herder seems like the pick there. Here, Wall of Blossoms is very nice, but I don't think we're looking to head into green. I think picking up another Slither here seems decent. We could pick up a snow-covered island for snow purposes, and I guess these are okay black cards, but I think the Slither is probably better, given that we have another Slither already. I guess there's some sort of zombie tribal going on here as well, potentially. Putrid Goblin, I suppose, goes very nicely with Carrion Feeder. Okay, Dregscape Slither certainly catches my eye from these cards. Pondering Mage is pretty nice as well. Don't think we want the 1/1 flyer. I'm not sure about Unanswered Prayers. It seems like it could be decent. Certainly a 3/3 flyer is a nice card for limited. But we're not going to be casting creatures every turn. Headless Spectre is okay. I think we're going to take the Slither here. We seem to be getting on a bit of a roll with picking up Slithers, so I think that seems nice. Alpine Guide is quite a good card, generally, but it's probably not better than just picking up another Slither here. We seem to be moving into white-black Slithers quite nicely. So we'll see how that works out, but I think Enduring Slither seems like the pick here. Alpine Guide is very nice for anyone who is in red, but I don't think we're looking to go in that direction. We've passed quite a few Talismans, which might end up being regrettable. We passed a Changeling as well there, I guess. So here we can take the Imposter. Again, it's a Slither for the purposes of our Slither cards, so that seems fairly good. Not really looking to move into red, although this seems to indicate that red is quite open, and we have been past a few decent red cards, so maybe that's something we should be considering. So this is a big fat guy. Put one of the cards in the graveyard. I think we just want to take the fatty here. Assume, well, 1,000 cuts I suppose could be good. Maybe I'm misevaluating that. I think we'll take Answered Prayers now. I mean, we could be picking up more Slithers, I guess. Maybe we should be pushing into red. But I quite like our white and black cards so far. We'll take the Talisman here. Return from Extinction actually does seem quite good in a tribal deck. Looks like we took it anyway. We'll take a Talisman here. We haven't really got a lot of things that are good to be blinked. On the whole, I guess we'll put this Treefolk Umbra in the sideboard, and we've ended up with another one of these Slithers. Cordial Vampire. We haven't got a lot of Changelings yet, so I mean we could run that, but maybe that's a little loose. Could get another Soul Herder, which might be nice, just as a solid creature. Haven't really got a lot to go with it just yet, and there isn't really a whole lot else, so I think we'll prepare to take the Soul Herder. Cordial Vampire could be good, potentially. Actually, that Talisman we picked up is quite nice, as it is in our colours. Currently, we might need to find a way to splash blue, or a better way to splash blue, if we're going to play these Soul Herders. So maybe we need the Cordial Vampire. I don't think we've got enough Changelings to make it truly good, though, so far. So I think we'll take the Soul Herder. Astral Drift is a card I really like. I don't know if it's any good in Limited. I don't think we've really got any cycling cards to go with it. Recruit the Worthy is okay. I think Irregular Cohort, which is a card I didn't really look at last time, is probably pretty good. We can make 2 slithers slash zombies slash vampires. Future Goblin is obviously another option here as well. That works very nicely with Carrion Feeder. But yeah, I don't know if we're sleeping on Astral Drift is the wrong thing to do, but we don't really have the cycling cards that go with that at this moment in time. So I think we take the irregular cohort. I think that seems to work nicely with our current tribal theme that we've got going on. Primarily slithers. It kind of works all with all that. Pretty nice with Dregscape Slither as well, so I quite like the idea of that. Here, what have we got? What does this bird do? 2/3 flying exploit. Whenever a creature control dies, put +1 cards if it gains haste. It was exploited. Okay, that seems like a decent end game for us. When Marcel ends the if you have done it on no tapped lands, put 2+1 on Conquerors on it. Marcel is not bad, I guess. Certainly we're a creature heavy deck, so it's possible that we can play that out without tapping any lands and make it a substantial creature. I think I prefer the Scavenger as it stands. I might just be wrong about that. Maybe we just want another Enduring Slither. Yeah, I'll take the Enduring Slither. I think our tribal synergies are going to be pretty good at this point. Vespalark looks like the immediate most exciting card in here. Also works with these Soul Herders, so we can potentially return a load of cards. We don't have a lot of 1 toughness guys, but got 1 power guys at the minute, so maybe we need to consider that, but I think that's going to be pretty good. Answered Prayers also works really nicely with the Soul Herders, actually, in hindsight. Didn't really pick up on that synergy before, but yeah, I suppose. Did he return end of turn? The beginning of your end step. Oh, so I suppose you gain a life, but then would this turn back into an angel for all of your opponent's turn? I don't think so. Well, that's an interesting one anyway. Interesting one to think about. Here, what have we got? Water Eye Witch seems pretty decent. I assume our creatures will be dying, so getting that scry seems good. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of other stuff in here that we're particularly interested in. Is a white-black deck. There's some decent blue cards. I don't know quite how we're going to work in the blue cards at the minute, because I think our main colours are certainly black and white. So we'll see how we get on. I should probably just make these bigger, shouldn't I? There we go. Sorry about that, I haven't really set this up particularly well. As I say, this is my first attempt at anything like this, really, so we'll see how we get on. And we'll work from there. So the Changeling guys seem kind of good because of the slithers. Changeling Outcast can also be returned with Vespalark, but I don't know if that makes it necessarily a good pick over, say, Lancer Slither, which just gives all our dudes combat advantages. Quite high on 3-drops though, so I think I'll try taking the Changeling Outcast instead. It's a way to get through, and obviously benefits from all our Slither abilities. There's another Lancer Slither here, so glad we took the Changeling Outcast. Squirrel's Nest seems really good in Limited, I would imagine. Just making a creature every turn seems pretty nice. There's so much green stuff here. But I don't think there's any chance that we're going to be moving into green. We could take the Snow-Covered Island, I guess, but we haven't really got any snow synergies to make that worthwhile. So we'll just pick another Slither up here. Let's see. Lancer Slithers for days. Moscovian Angel seems pretty bad. Trustworthy Scout, I guess, gets better with the more you take. It's not really a lot for us here. We don't really want Forgotten Cave, although if it was any other cycling land in our colours, I suppose we might take it. More tempted to take the Snow-Covered Island, to be quite honest. Soul Strike Technique. What does that do? +1/+1 Vigilance. When a creature dies, manifest the top card of your library. That's not bad, I guess. There's nothing really else for us here. Guess I'll take that and see if we want to run it. But I can't see that we are terribly likely to do so. It seems like a good opportunity to take a Putrid Goblin. I don't know how likely it is that you end up with the ability to just make a 1/1 every turn with Recruit the Worthy. I suppose it's not bad. More unanswered prayers. I don't think we want loads of these. Maybe we just take Nature's Chant as a sideboard card. Yeah, see a lot of good red stuff going by, I guess. Just minor concern. Icehold Hide Golem would be good if we could dependently cast it, but I don't think we can. So I guess we'll just take the plains here. None of these are particularly exciting. So we'll take the Spore Frog. Okay, Force of Despair, foil Force of Despair, is that? That's quite cool. Is it any good? I suppose it's a decent removal spell. We don't really have a lot of removal. Let's take that as our pick unless we can find something better. Spice of Skill seems really good in general, although we don't have tons of spells that we're looking to cast, so seems like a nice card. That's probably the pick I would otherwise choose. I can't really see us wanting any of the other cards. Fountain of Ichor, I suppose, is a way of fixing our mana so we can splash that blue, but it's a common, and I don't think we really want to be first picking it. Future Sight would be very nice, but I can't think we can commit to playing that much blue when we're really only splashing it. So I think Force of Despair is a reasonable pick here. I think it's still a decent removal spell. It's basically murder quite a lot of the time. Lesser Master Core is pretty good in general. Works with our Carrion Feeder quite nicely. Smiting Helix is pretty good as well. I guess that's a pretty solid removal spell in general, and if we can splash off the Tantalite and maybe a mana, then we can potentially flash it back as well. So that seems pretty good. I don't know whether the Master Core is just better though as a long-term threat. We probably take the Smiting Helix. We don't have a lot of removal, as I've said before, so I think we probably should be taking that. Although I do feel sad about passing on the Manticore. So what does Rank Officer actually do? He's fairly decent, I suppose. And the Sky's Group. Smoke Shaper enters my field. Creature becomes indestructible until end of turn. Seems solid. I don't know how good wall is. Venomous Changeling seems pretty good. And Wing Shards is... No, Wing Shards is just removal, I guess we just take the removal. Phantom Vicar again, we could potentially splash. The black cards in here are okay, I think. Maybe the Venomous Changeling is better than Wing Shards, I don't know for sure. Maybe in our aggressive deck, maybe that would have been the better play. So here we are probably looking at Umezawa's Charm, because there doesn't seem like there's a lot of other stuff. Yeah, it's a nice little combat trick. I could take Lonely Sandbar, I guess, instead. I think Umezawa's Charm's pretty good. I'm thinking about the Wing Shards pick that we picked last turn. I'm not sure actually now. I think maybe the Changeling would have been better, because that's potentially removal and also a good Slither card for our largely Slither deck. We can also get it back with Dreadscape, etc. Okay, so we've got another Dreadscape Slither, which seems nice. I mean, I don't know how useful it's going to be in reality, but I think giving a good number of our cards a way to unearth themselves seems pretty nice, particularly Irregular Cohort. And it seems like a good way to get some alpha attacks in. So I think we want the Dreadscape Slither as well. The second one seems good to me. Passing Barren Moor, which is a nice cycling card. Headless Spectre might be good, I suppose, but I think by the time that we're Hellbent, our opponent's a good chance that our opponent's Hellbent as well. Into the New Moon seems a bit... Well, it's certainly a hefty amount of damage, but I don't think that's really where we want to be at. Reprobation is kind of removal, but not terribly good removal. I think we want the Changeling here. We passed on it before, but I think it's going to be pretty nice in our deck with all our Slither interactions. But yeah, I think otherwise I would have been picking Reprobation here, even if it isn't terribly good removal, but it is removal. Rot Widow seems like a solid card. I don't think we want to be doing any more splashing though, really. We can get another Venomous Changeling or a Rank Officer. I'm not sure how good Venomous Changeling is going to be, but I think it seems solid. It seems like a good way to work the ground. Oh, but there is an Irregular Cohort, I've overlooked that. We want another one of those. I quite like those. They work really nicely with the Dreadscape Slither, so that's nice synergy. And then just making multiple Slithers from one card seems pretty nice. Face Divinity is... Strike and Lightning. Okay, not terribly good. I'm getting all the Venomous Changelings now, more than we could ever potentially want to play. I suppose it works really nicely with Vesperlark actually as well. You can just get back Venomous Changeling. And if we get Soul Herder online, we can potentially do that. Vesperlark also gets back Soul Herder, doesn't it? Because Soul Herder is just a 1/1. So you can get it back from the graveyard. That works quite nicely. I'm quite liking the synergies that we seem to be building up here. I guess Stirring Address is not a bad card. Certainly a good way for a big alpha strike at the end of the game. Not sure if we're necessarily playing it, but I suppose we'll see. I'll take the Headless Spectre here. Even if it is double black, I suppose the Universal Automaton might be fine, but I can't see us necessarily wanting to play it, even if it is a Slither. taking out probably most of these auras. More Venomous Changelings. I don't think we really want any more. Rank Officer might be a good card, I don't really know. It does make 2 creatures, potentially, if you're looking to discard something. We don't really want mountains, so we take Gilded Light here. So our deck's shaping up, certainly. So we probably Headless Spectre again. Recruit the Worthy. Okay, so playing in the league, I think we'll build our deck, and then I'll save this video and see how it goes. Hopefully this wasn't too dull, and you can tell me all the stuff I got wrong in the comments. I'm playing this for the first time. I forgot that we are timed on this, so my lack of knowledge is probably going to hurt us a little bit. I think our lands seem okay. I think probably playing those 2 snow-covered islands is probably about right. For the Soul Herders, I think we want both of them. Return from Extinction seems good. It's a question really what we want to get rid of. I don't think we really want to be playing the Recruit the Worthy. I really don't know how good Unanswered Prayers is going to be. Certainly every time we play a creature it is decent. The life gain could be relevant. I think I'm going to cut that for now. But it could be good with our blink effects. Wingshard seems solid as a removal spell. Venomous Changeling, I don't know if we need 2 of these, but seems fine. Water-Eye Witch. It's okay, but I could potentially see cutting that. Force of Despair seems like solid removal. Headless Spectre is just a decent flyer, but wasn't something I was super excited about. So what do we need to get down to? I think we'll play this Mox Tantalite as a source of blue mana. I mean, it could be awful, I guess. It does take some time to get down, but if it's in our opening hand, it seems pretty solid. And it can also help us get this Smiting Helix going. We don't really have any other red sources. I don't know how much we want to mess with our mana, so maybe we're just playing Smiting Helix as itself on face value. I think it's probably good to have a big card, a big body. First Slivers Chosen seems like it would be really good if we can get it in, particularly with Changeling Outcasts, so we can just hit them through. So Golem seems okay. It doesn't really work with the rest of our deck necessarily. Interested to see how this works. We don't really have any big threats, I suppose. It's kind of the problem, but kind of working on the tribal synergies and hoping they'll work out. But I think we have got some nice bits and pieces, like Enduring Slither seems solid. A lot of our creatures are going to be slivers, so Dregscape Slither seems good. Lancer Slither is also going to help us in combat. This guy with First Strike seems pretty nice. I don't think we necessarily want these rank officers, so how many cards do we need to cut? Quite a few. I think we take the rank officers out for now. So we want roughly 23 cards. I think I like the Soul Herders enough that we're going to play both of them. I think Headless Spectre probably needs to go. I think there's any more blink synergies, but I suppose there isn't really. You have to discard a card to rank officer, so it's not really a blink synergy, but I suppose it's better than absolutely nothing. We play that over the Water-Eye Witch. just so we have another blink synergy in case we want it, because we can blink the rank officer and then pick extra lands to it potentially. So what else can go? I think we want Return from Extinction. That seems good. I don't think we necessarily need the talisman, given that we've got so much. Given that our curve is quite low to begin with, maybe we just don't need this. If we picked up a blue mana talisman, I think that would have been worth running, but otherwise we probably just don't need that all that much. So for Vespel Lark, have we got enough 1 mana dudes? Hopefully we have. Rank Officer. Maybe we cut one of these Venomous Changelings, I don't know. Seems like it would be good though. Carrion Feeder seems like it's just generally a solid card. I'm struggling to think what the best cards to cut are. I suppose if he's our Charm, it's not terribly exciting. Maybe we just cut that, and one more card to cut. Maybe it's first Sphere Gargantuan. I do like having a big threat, but it doesn't necessarily mean. He's a nice blink synergy though as well. Tricky. Let me go back to cutting this rank officer. Okay, so let's play it like that, and then in terms of our lands, we'll play all these. And then, how do you add land? One magic online. I really haven't played a draft in a long time on this. Okay, well, I'll figure this out on my own, I guess. But yeah, this is our deck. I hope you enjoyed this Modern Horizons draft. I clearly don't know nearly enough about the format just yet, but we'll work on this. I thought I might as well get this recorded while I was doing it, and then I will come back and record the matches and see how we get on with this deck.